Hi, I'm Laura Parker, Chair of the Norton Charter Commission.
And I'm Kevin Schleicher Jr., Vice Chair of the Charter Commission. And we'd like to take a few minutes to talk to you about who we are, the work we've been doing for the past 2 years, and why you should support our recommendations at the ballot on April 10th.
In 2018, over 2,400 residents signed a petition asserting that it was time for the town of Norton to form a charter commission to conduct a formal review of our town government. Specifically, to figure out if our town government, including the use of town meeting, is as responsive to the needs of the town and its residents as it should be.
In April of 2019, Norton voters left no doubt about the answer to that question. By a 4-to-1 margin, you overwhelmingly voted to form a charter commission and elected 9 residents with diverse viewpoints to serve on the commission. The Charter Commission's job, under state law, is to conduct an in-depth review of the current charter and compare it to the needs of the town. Once we finish that, we are required to recommend appropriate changes based on our findings and present those recommendations to voters for approval.
During the first 18 months, we focused on researching, gathering information, and educating ourselves on the different forms of government available to Massachusetts towns. We also personally met with and surveyed town employees, officials, and residents to determine what was working and what wasn't.
After we gathered that information, the Commission spent the next 10 months discussing and deliberating the various forms of government in more than 50 major parts of our charter. The end result of this 18-month process is the Commission's unanimous decision that open town meeting no longer works for Norton.
Town meeting is antiquated, slow to respond, and results in missed opportunities. It caters to special interest groups while disenfranchising a lot of residents, including those who work non-standard hours or shifts and others who don't have the opportunity or the ability to attend. It was apparent to all of us that in order to respond to the needs of all Norton residents, we needed a form of government that provides greater agility and flexibility, the ability to make important decisions more than twice a year, and the reliability needed to accomplish long-term planning.
The fact is, very few people participate in town meeting. Participation at regular town meetings has averaged between 1% and 3% of all voters over the past 5 years. That's as few as 150 people participating out of over 13,000 registered voters. Essentially, a tiny fraction of the population makes the important decisions for everyone in town. So we felt that everyone should get to decide who those decision makers are, and they should be accountable to everyone and be required to make decisions that are in the best interest of the entire town.
So for these reasons, the Charter Commission unanimously decided that town council form of government with 7 councilors elected at large to serve staggered 3-year terms made the most sense for Norton.
I know some people are surprised that we didn't ultimately choose precinct seats. So am I, honestly, and I think Laura is as well. Once we agreed on a town council government, I think a lot of us expected that a mix of precinct and at-large seats would be our recommendation, but we decided early on that staggered terms were important to maintain a continuity of government. Once that decision was made and we walked through the various scenarios, we found that one of the problems with precinct representation was that it gave up too much of the accountability that voters said was important to them.
This decision was not made lightly. We deliberated over that question more than any other, for more than 5 hours over the course of 3 meetings. And then we revisited it again to make sure we still felt it was correct. You can refer to the frequently asked question on our webpage for more detailed explanation on this subject.
In addition to moving away from open town meeting, we made sure our recommendations addressed the other key issues that were raised in our survey to the extent we could, namely communication and transparency, accountability, and concerns about drinking water.
We added 7 new measures to ensure more and better communication and transparency. Among them is a requirement for an annual joint State of the Town message to be presented by the town manager and town council president, both a preliminary and final budget message to be delivered during the budget process, a long-term financial forecast to be shared with the public, and at least 1 annual public hearing for residents to give input on policy matters.
To address concerns about our water, we unanimously recommended the formation of a Department of Public Works, which would consolidate and centralize all of the existing town departments that are responsible for public works. A DPW will be more efficient for the town and could be more cost effective, as departments may be able to share staff and resources. And while that particular change won't be immediate, our recommendation also calls for the town council to immediately assume policy and rate setting authority when they are elected, which would eliminate a separate water and sewer commission.
These are just some of the highlights. If you want to know more about those and other critical decisions we made, you can check out our town webpage to review our final report, our charter revision, and for more detailed answers to some frequently asked questions. Our final report and charter will be mailed out in March to all households with at least one registered voter so that you can make a fully informed decision.
The final step in this process is in your hands. We're asking you to trust the unanimous decision of the 9 members you elected to the Charter Commission. Please remember to vote on question 1 on April 10th. Thank you.
Thank you.